Heavy on policy and light on personal attacks. That's one way to describe Tuesday's U.S. vice presidential debate. Julia Benbrook joins us now from New York. Julia, you watched it all intently. How would you sum it up?
Well, that's exactly right. It was a civil debate and it was policy focused. These two talked about a wide range of issues, including abortion rights, the economy, and immigration. Now, some of the first topics that they were asked about are developing right now, both here at home and abroad. The recovery efforts from Hurricane Helene, as well as the escalating tensions in the Middle East following Iran's missile attack against Israel. Ohio Senator J.D. Vance and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz stepped onto the debate stage, while major stories developed both at home and abroad. The vice presidential nominees were asked to address climate change as the Hurricane Helene recovery efforts continue.
There's no doubt this thing roared onto the scene faster and stronger than anything we've seen. Senator Vance has said that there's a climate problem in the past. Donald Trump called it a hoax.
If they really believe that climate change is serious, what they would be doing is more manufacturing and more energy production in the United States of America.
Hours before the debate started, Iran launched a missile attack against Israel. Vice President Kamala Harris joined President Joe Biden and top military officials in the Situation Room to monitor the response by Israeli and U.S. forces. Harris's running mate arguing that what is needed is steady leadership.
What we've seen out of Vice President Harris is we've seen steady leadership. We've seen a calmness that is able to draw on the coalitions to bring them together.
Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump criticized the Biden administration and claimed that this would not have happened if he were president. His running mate making the argument that Trump would bring back stability.
Donald Trump recognized that for people to fear the United States, you needed peace through strength.
Analysts say that it's unlikely that this debate is going to change the trajectory of the presidential race. These VP candidates are now back on the campaign trail working to reach voters. Vance is in Michigan for a pair of events focused on the economy and manufacturing, while Walz is in central Pennsylvania for a bus tour and campaign rally.
And Julia, other than the moments that you just showed us, is there anything else that really caught your eye?
Well, they went back and forth on a wide range of issues like we touched on, but they also tried to paint the other ticket as extreme. Walz pointed back to Trump's time in office, calling him, quote, dangerous, while Vance pointed to Vice President Kamala Harris's time as vice president and asked why she hadn't accomplished the things that she is campaigning on now. Now, one moment that really stuck out, it happened during the end portion of this debate. Walz pressed Vance on if Trump had won the 2020 election, and Vance declined to answer that question. Now, the Harris campaign is already looking to seize on this exchange, and they have advertisements focusing on it that are starting to air.
It's hard to believe, but the election is just 5 weeks away. What is on the agenda for Trump and Harris this week?
Well, Harris is in Georgia today. She's touring damage left by Hurricane Helene and getting a briefing on the recovery efforts in the state. Trump doesn't have any public appearances on his schedule for today, but tomorrow he's expected to be in Michigan and Harris is expected to be in Wisconsin. Now, what all of these stops and the VP stops have in common is that they are really looking at these battleground states, showing us just where that focus is going to be in this final sprint toward Election Day. Cynthia?
All right, you'll be busy for the next 5 weeks. Julia Benbrook, thank you very much. That is CNN's Julia Benbrook in New York.